I'm going to date this video again and say that I'm recording on the 1st of April because that means that it is the end of the first quarter of 2025. Yay. Do we celebrate this? Might make me a fool if I do. In a previous video I talked through my goals for this year, and I thought at the end of the first quarter I'd change a few goals, so I thought I'd revisit it now as well in case anyone else is interested. I'm going to go through my spreadsheet, see what I've done so far, tell you how I've changed the goals, everything like that. First of all is the 12 new bought games. I have put on one that was free because the idea of it is that I've bought them via Humble Bundle or something, you know, games I already own. None of that has happened so far. With 3 games on my list. One is the alpha of the Jagex game, which the proper name has been announced now. I can't remember what it is. Bread and Fred, which I bought so I could play with Mass on stream, and Lost But Found, like my finger, which I also bought to play on stream, and that's the only 3 I have played so far. That, you know, new ones. Obviously I've played other games. My goal for that was to play 12 new ones. I'm not changing that goal. 3 is technically a quarter of the way there, and it's a quarter of the way through the year. When it gets to 6 months, if I'm still, you know, not doing so well on that, I might change the goal, but right now I think that can stay as it is. The next one is finish 12 comic books, which I've always been a bit iffy whether that's 12 comic book issues or 12 comic books, because the whole idea is that I have Marvel Unlimited, which means I can read any Marvel comic book, you know, other than the most recent ones, at no extra cost. The idea is to make it so that that's worth it. So if I do 12 issues, that's 1 volume, which is cheaper than Marvel Unlimited. So it doesn't quite. But anyway, I haven't done any of that yet this year. I'm not worried about that though, because they, like, when I get into reading the comic books, whoof, that's it. I read loads all at once. So I'm not worried about that at all. The next one is finish reading 3 novels, which if you follow me on Instagram, I have been posting to my story when I finish a novel. So far, the goal was 3. So far I've done 2. I've done The Isle of the Lost, which I finished reading on the 8th of February, and Return to the Isle of the Lost, which I finished reading on the 27th of March. So quite a fair distance between starting this, which wouldn't have been that long after this one, and finishing it. And I've got 2 more of them to go. I'm not really sure why they've taken me so long. There was the fact that I forgot halfway through what had happened in the first half because I had such a big break in it, and I'm not sure what happens there at all whatsoever. The next one is that I've been reading through this. I started reading it 2 days ago, and I'm on page 260 out of 380 something, I believe. This is Sunrise on the Reaping, by the way. I've been struggling to put it down. Let's just put it like that. Been three sittings so far, I suppose. Yeah, I am definitely going to complete those 3 novels. So I'm changing that to... I'm thinking of changing it to 4, but I feel like that's a bit low still. I'm going to change that to finish 5 novels. When it gets to the end of the next quarter, if I've done that, especially if it's been with ease, then I'll change it again. But right now I know that I'm devouring this, and that's why it's definitely going to get to 3. And I don't want to push myself too hard by being like 6, and then I only just make it through the other 2 Isle of the Lost books. Next one is upload 12 videos. I wasn't sure whether I was going to count the 2025 goals video because it was all set to upload on the 1st. Everything done for it was done last year. But I have put that on my list just in case, I guess. There's a little safety there, and so far I've only got 2. I've got the 2025 goals video and the unboxing a Barbie phone video. I have been editing one, which will make an appearance at some point, but it's a long edit. And obviously there's this one, which hopefully should should upload soon. It should, you know, shouldn't be too long. So 12 videos, it's being quite... I'm going to leave it for now. I still think it's possible. The unboxing of Barbie phone took so much out of me for the recording and editing. and I'm just breaking this box if I'm not careful. Just like in unboxing a Barbie phone. So I'm gonna leave that. We'll see again at the end of the next quarter. Stream 52 times. Does anyone want to guess how many times I've streamed so far this year? 6. Oh, that's such a low number. You are right. It's been 6. That might need to be changed. I do have a stream tonight, which will make it 7. At, quarter of the way there, 6 multiplied by 4 obviously isn't 52. It's 24. So that's half of it. So against my better judgment, I'm going to leave it for now. I probably shouldn't, but I'm going to. The next one is write 50,000 words. I have written 5 times this year in total, which got me to 5,350 words. My first sitting was 1,848 words, my second 1,263, 2,157, and then 19, and then 63, all of which were from different books. One of them was a short story all by itself, and one you could argue is the same book because it's the prologue of a collection of short stories I hope to write. But yeah, I'm sort of dipping in and out of novels at the moment. I'm not going to change that. Again, I said in the original video that I'm not worried about doing that because I've written that much in a month before when I was doing the NaNoWriMo challenge. So I think it could stay on that amount until September, and I'd still leave it. It'd still be fine. The very last section is my sewing goals. Are my sewing goals? Is my sewing goals? So one of my goals was to finish an item of clothing for myself, which I did on the 22nd of January. So immediately I changed the goal to make myself an outfit, which I completed on the 17th of March by making a skirt as well. Hopefully photos, videos to go with it somewhere over here. Then I thought, I'm not really sure what to do beyond that because there are other things that I want to make clothes-wise, but I don't know whether to put that on as a goal. Another one is winter bunting, which I haven't started yet. It's one of those things that I'm sort of I have a long time in order to do it. There's a long time until it's winter, but when it gets up to it, I'll panic and I might not finish it. That's still staying on my goals list though, same as finishing the quilt that I was making past 2 or 3 years actually. It's a reasonably complicated quilt. All I've got to do is quilt it and add the binding, which when you say it like that, it's quite a lot still, but compared to picking all the fabrics, cutting it all out, sewing it all together, it's like a third of the work, which isn't still quite a lot thinking about it. But hey, I think that might have been all of my sewing goals. It's not actually written on this section. Let me see if I can find it elsewhere. I'm sure all the list is somewhere. I'm pretty sure I know what notebook it's in, but I'm not going to easily find that right now. I've also been doing some other sewing projects, which I've been happy to do. I made a mask to match my skirt, and I had this sort of rule before I started reading this that I'd need to make I call them book cozies, but they're technically book sleeves. I call them book cozies just because I make bowl cozies, so I just started calling them book cozies until I saw other people call them book sleeves, and I'm like, oh yeah, it is. That's what it is, isn't it? But I made this, and it's got math stuff in the middle. Why is my camera not picking that up? This is a new camera. It's meant to be 4K, which presumably would be better quality, but oh, there we go, focusing, and yeah, it's got maths on the inside because I felt like this could be kind of sciencey, and it matches the book. I already have this one, which was bought for me. Book Buddy, it calls itself there, if the camera's going to focus on it, which I doubt it is. There we go. But that doesn't fit this book. I've already made previously these for other people, including ones of different sizes. Someone I know was reading the Star Wars books and really didn't fit in the one of these. So this is what I use for smaller books, of course. And this one actually has so much room around it. But yeah, this This will not fit in the slightest because this is like 2 inches bigger or so, and it's pretty cozy in there. Talking about book cozy. Also, before anyone mentioned it, yes, I'm using a tissue as as a bookmark. I was reading it and then I looked around and realised there was no bookmark. There was no piece of paper or no receipt. No, there wasn't anything. So I just took a tissue out of the box and put it in because I needed something to mark my page, and that was 2 days ago, and I haven't felt need to change it. I mean, I'm gonna probably finish this week. I'm not gonna bother changing it. Why? I am gonna go because I really want to read more of this. If I finish it before Sunday, which I probably will, I'll put something on the edit and it will say somewhere here saying I did it, I didn't do it. Now I've done all 3 of my original books, or I haven't, you know, we'll see. Hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, wonderful week, wonderful life, and maybe you'll see me next time. I won't see you because that's not how this works. You know, videos, it's not two-way, don't worry. You're fine sitting there in your cozy outfit that you wouldn't wear outside or whatever you're in or not in. Until next time, bye.